On an average cul-de-sac in Heaton, Mersey, Joan Kinane lived alone. From the outside, friends and neighbours described a polite and cultured woman, always impeccably dressed. But inside, Joan had a secret. Her home was literally full to the brim with boxes and suitcases of clothes, ornaments and general homeware she'd bought but couldn't part with. Here she died alone under piles of her own rubble. Joan's friends became concerned around Boxing Day last year when they couldn't get hold of her, and then 10 days later she failed to appear at a hospital appointment, and so they came here to try to look for her. And finding the side door slightly ajar, for the first time they stepped into the strange house that she'd never allowed them to enter.
It was just full of junk everywhere. Thousands of videos, hundreds if not thousands of videos, and we were crawling over these videos. Scarves, clothes, ornaments, just bric-a-brac of everything. I do remember thinking to myself, gosh, you can't see the carpet anywhere. And we had to clamber over to get from room to room. Once, I think it took us 10 minutes to get from one room to the other.
Andrew says he couldn't even work out where Joan slept. There was no obvious bed. It took a number of police searches to find her. A tactical aid unit, a 7-ton police truck and a skip were used to clear her belongings. Police decided not to send in dogs, such was the danger of the clutter. Today in court, the coroner concluded that Joan Kinane had died from natural causes. She'd been suffering from a bad chest and died from bronchial pneumonia, possibly worsened by a form of leukemia. Joan was last seen alive on Boxing Day, but her body wasn't discovered until the 7th of January, and the coroner said it was impossible to know how long she'd been dead. What he did say was that he suspected she'd collapsed and been buried under around 3 feet of her own possessions, which is why it took police so long to find her. Joan's closest friend thinks her habit formed a number of years ago after she was frightened by youths close to her home. He says subsequently she hated being in the house and so filled her time in the shops.
Everything was neatly stacked. It wasn't just haphazard, it was neatly stacked in place. So she's quite a tidy person and quite presentable in her, in the way she dressed.
Was it a surprise to you that her home was in such a state?
Well, it was. Yeah, I knew the garage wasn't in a good state. It was crammed up to capacity. But that was the garage. I had no idea that the bungalow was in that state.
The tragedy, Roy says, is that this very private woman seemed to be coming to terms with the fact that her habit was out of control. She finally wanted to do something about it, but by that time it was too late. Nina Warhurst, Channel M Today.